Wyatt Earp, brave, courageous, and bold. Long live his fame, and long live his glory, and long may his story be told.
The 1870s were a time of Victorian decorum and chivalry. Men like Marshal Wyatt Earp held to a code which we smile at today as being stuffy and sentimental. Where women were concerned, Wyatt felt obligations which often moved him to be a friend and protector. Historians of the period are agreed that life in frontier settlements was heaven for cattle but hard for women. Miss Kathy Prentice could testify to that.
Not far. What happened? What is it? What happened, cousin? Where's the girl? All right, break it up.
This Indian's a friend of mine. What happened to her, Mr. Cousin?
Don't know, Mr. Earp. I find her on trail.
What's your name, miss? I'll take her over to Doc McCarty. You get Mrs. Bates. Wait for me in my office. Come on, dear. Break it up!
Here, drink some of this. She's suffering from exhaustion, that's all. Been walking the trail a good many miles, I guess.
Oh, the poor little thing. Has she been wounded?
No, ma'am, she's just tuckered out.
Well, she certainly needs a bath and a long sleep.
Let her sleep first, Ma.
I brought my surrey. Is it all right to move her to my house?
You're boss of the Travelers' Helpers. She'll be in good hands.
Well, please carry her to the surrey, Wyatt.
Yes, ma'am.
And we'll need some information. Now, she doesn't look to be of legal age. You know how much trouble that can cause.
When she wakes up, she can tell you all about herself.
Sometimes they will, and sometimes they won't. It's always the Travelers' Helpers that takes the blame. Well, pick her up, Wyatt. Pick her up.
Yes, ma'am. Honey, try and sit up and put your arm around me. That's it. That's it. Now, hold on tight. That's it.
Well, you getting anywhere?
Not far. Mr. Cousin found her about 15 miles south.
From the trail to the nations.
She saw him, became frightened, and ran. Tripped and fell. Seemed to go into a faint. When she came to, she just blinked and shook her head at all his questions.
You think they blame Indians?
No, Mr. Cousin, she could have run away from a wagon train or a ranch house on the trail.
A girl on foot should be easy to backtrack.
Well, that's the idea. We want to give her a chance to talk first. We've already had 3 runaways this week. Ma Bates, she's always worried the Travelers' Helpers are going to find themselves in the midst of a lawsuit.
How much could anybody collect from them if they did sue?
Oh, quite a large fortune. At least $25.
Yeah.
You stay here with Mr. Cousin. I'm going to go see if the girl's awake.
Here's some rainwater to rinse with.
Real fresh rainwater?
Out of the cistern.
Dust. Alkali water. I hate this country. Oh.
You didn't have any choice about coming west?
No.
Well, the men decide to pioneer and the women have to go along. Are you ready for more? Oh, now, who's that?
Let it ring.
Oh, it might be that nosy doctor. I'll have to go. Here. Now, try yourself. Then put on this nightgown and get into bed. Coming, doctor. Coming. Oh, Wyatt. I thought McCarty might snoop around to see if I obeyed orders. Come in. Do come in.
Thank you. Is she still asleep?
No, finishing her bath. And a real problem.
Oh?
Won't tell me her name or anything. Just says she hates Kansas. Another runaway on her hands.
No information for me, huh?
Well, she's bruised up some on her back and arms. Of course you won't refer to it.
Oh, no, ma'am.
Well, I'll go see if she's properly covered.
Yes, you better do that.
It's Marshal Earp. He wants to talk to you.
Why? I haven't done anything.
Well, you haven't said who you are or where you come from.
Can he make me tell?
Young woman, the Traveler's Helpers has certain rules. I think you're a runaway.
Oh.
And in runaway cases, we have to work with the Marshal's office. Now, put this on.
Yes,
Get into bed.
I'm not going to tell.
We'll see. Now, cover yourself up good. It's all right, Wyatt. Now, you can trust Marshal Earp.
I never saw a man you could trust.
I wish you wouldn't say things like that. Come on in, Wyatt.
Wow. By golly, you look like a different girl.
Thanks to Mrs. Bates.
Well, don't thank me. Just tell the truth.
Oh, I'm sure she will. Now, the Indian that found you, Mr. Cousin, is going to try and backtrail you. I aim to send Mr. Masterson, too. It's going to be a long, long ride.
Well,
You can save us an awful lot of expense. We have kind of a small town here. Travelers Helper Society doesn't have too much money.
And if you're not 21, your folks could sue us.
does Mrs. Bates have to know about it?
Well, she's your friend.
There are some things you shouldn't try to explain to a lady. Please.
I'll be downstairs if you need me.
Now then.
And so I ran away. If you knew the Prentices and you were a girl, you'd run away too.
Well, did they legally adopt you as Kathy Prentice?
I don't know. All I know is I'm not going back there.
Don't you have any friends in Pleasantville?
It isn't a town, Mr. Earp. Just a saloon and a tavern. I did have one friend, though. A cowhand, Norm Davis. He sort of hinted that he'd like to marry me. But he rode off down the trail last spring.
Thanks, Miss Kathy. I'll look into it.
You believe me?
Mm-hmm.
It's just about the first time that anyone, except Norm. Thank you, Mr. Earp. Thank you very much.
Well,
Her name is Kathy Prentice. She was adopted by some real low-down people, according to her story. I'm going to check it out. There's some money for the Travelers Helpers. She'll need some new clothes.
oh, but if the child was legally adopted, you have to send her back, Wyatt.
I'm going to get proof before I send her back, and I won't take it. If half of what this girl tells me about the Prentices turns out to be true, you'd be in favor of taking them to court. Seems that only one man, young cowhand by the name of Norman Davis, treated her like a human being, didn't try to take advantage of her.
Shocking.
It was the only good thing ever happened to her. The rest you'd call white trash behavior. You look out after her until I get back, will you?
I certainly will. That poor child.
Thank you.
Where's Wyatt?
He's out on the case.
That runaway girl cousin brought in?
That's right, sir.
This town has enough trouble with runaway boys. I'm not criticizing you, cousin. Only thing you could have done. But their relatives always turn up and sue the city.
I thought they always sued the travelers' helpers.
This city's got real money. 800 or more in the treasury.
Howdy, Mr. Mayor.
What's up?
Investigation. You come along. Mr. Cousin, you going back to your farm. I want to thank you a lot for helping Miss Kathy.
Oh, Miss Kathy, is it? Who's her folks? Where'd she run from?
Well, that's confidential, Mr. Mayor. Police work.
Well, just see you don't get us sued for mistreating a runaway or something.
Oh, I'll be real discreet. We're going to need a lot of trail rations. Bring that along. It's quite a ride.
Yo, boys, wake up! Two strangers outside.
You Mrs. Prentice?
Maybe. Couple of Johnny Laws getting nosy.
I only asked you if your name was Mrs. Prentice.
There's no call to get hostile. Yeah, she's my apprentice. I'm Lonnie and he's Todd.
You talk too much, Lonnie. Nobody's saying nothing.
You got a sister by the name of Kathy?
Yeah. Where is she?
Don't know. Car hand rode into Dodge yesterday. Said she was missing. She run away?
But you beat her so she can't get around.
Mean talk to your ma. Whoop him.
Hold it. You're more my size.
I'll drive your tack for you. Oh! Lonnie, get a gun.
Hold it. Now, you're all suspected of murder.
Murder? Well, Kathy just run off, that's all.
Hush up.
You watch these two. I'm gonna shake down this rat hole. Ladies first, ma'am. You, make your daughter stay here?
That's my business.
You went for his gun.
Plugged you, did he? Just wait till some of the cowhands ride in.
It hurts, Mom.
Ma, we shouldn't be fighting the law. Now, you tell him the truth about Kathy.
I'm telling them nothing.
Well, then I'm gonna tell him. She ain't our real sister.
Hush up, Lonnie.
Ma adopted her. She ran off because she didn't want to marry Todd. She loved some cowhand named Norm Davis.
Was she legally adopted?
Sure, Ma's got the papers.
Come on, Wyatt. Nothing more to do here.
I allowed Kathy, but I didn't hurt her bad. Now you satisfied?
For the time being, ma'am. Yeah.
Kathy's in Dodge. That marshal was lying about her being killed.
You reckon?
Dead, sure. I promised Todd he could marry her. We'll be visiting Dodge. Come on, son.
Would you send her back?
She's not 21. There's not much else to do.
Send her back to marry something like Todd?
I'm feeling sorry for that girl. Now, don't get yourself concerned with her.
Oh, not Miss Kathy.
I guess I do look a little different.
Yes, ma'am. You sure do.
Did you see them?
Hmm?
Mom Prentice, do they know where I am? Did you meet Todd?
Yes.
I can't go back there. I just can't. Don't make me do that, Mr. Earp. Please.
Well, What does Mrs. Bates think?
Oh, she's afraid that the traveler's helpers might be accused of abducting me or something. Couldn't you abduct me? I'd go anywhere with you.
Oh, wait a minute, Miss
Oh,
Kathy.
last night when you carried me in your arms, I felt safe. I felt like being in love.
Look, you've been afraid all your life. Now, I wear a star and I carry guns. It's only natural that you...
Please, I'm just asking to be near you. I wouldn't expect you to marry me.
Miss Kathy, nice girls don't say things like that.
I can't afford to be a nice girl. Nice girls don't have men like Todd Prentice after them. Or Mom Prentice with a whip or a beer mug. What I need is
I
somebody...
think that what we ought to do is go and have a little talk with Mrs. Bates. I'll try and talk her into a visit to Kansas City, and you go along,
Oh, that'd be just fine, Mr. Earp. Just fine.
Well, anyway, if that won't work, why, maybe that young cowhand will come riding up the trail.
Cowhand?
Norm Davis, the young fellow you told me about, wanted to marry you.
Oh, he's probably forgotten all about me. Besides, I'd rather be your girl and go off with you than marry Norm.
You are desperate, aren't you? I'm going to send a message to Norm down all the trails. We'll find him.
Well, don't you like me well enough to have me for your girl?
Shh, Miss Kathy, please.
Well, I think I could find another man who'd take me away. But he wouldn't be as handsome or as lovable as you.
Howdy, folks.
Howdy, Marshal.
I'm sorry to rush you, but talk like that
I'm
is just...
not ashamed. It's honest talk. I just think you're wonderful.
Well. Mrs. Bates? Mrs. Bates?
And you know the law, Wyatt. The child belongs to the Prentice woman until she's 21.
Yes.
As for you, young lady, I never heard such brazen talk. It's indecent.
You don't know Todd Prentice.
She's played on your sympathy, Wyatt. Now the time has come to send word to the Prentices or take Kathy home.
No, ma'am.
What?
I wouldn't send a dog back to the Prentices. Come on, Miss Kathy. We won't bother Mrs. Bates anymore. I'll rent your room over at the Stagecoach Inn.
Oh, yes.
Why, for shame. I thought you were a paragon of virtue, a deacon in the church.
Mrs. Bates, I will hire Mrs. Williams to look after her. Now, Miss Kathy didn't mean all those things she was saying about me. She's mixed up, and I don't blame her.
I wouldn't trust Mrs. Williams, not for 1 second.
Well, if it make you feel any easier, I'll post a deputy outside the hallway, day and night.
He's fighting against it, but he'll run off with me. You'll see.
Oh. Why did I ever get mixed up in politics?
Lonnie, climb down and fix this tarnation harness.
I told you it wouldn't last a Dodge.
Oh, it'll last. Now take this and bind it to the single tree and slice it to the leather. Get a move on or Kathy will fly the coop on us again.
No, she won't. The boys will hold the law off while I make her marry me.
Judge Tobin says the Prentices can sue us and charge Wyatt with abduction unless he brings her back.
I don't know. He's kind of sweet on her.
That little ragamuffin?
Ma Bates dolled her up. She's beautiful now. Besides, Wyatt pities her.
Huh. I'll talk some sense into his head. I'll show him that little... Marshal Earp. Wyatt. That kitty cat got your tongue?
Sorry, Mr. Mayor. What were you saying?
I talked to Judge Tobin. Legally, you can't...
I know. Well, I can certainly buy off Ma Prentice.
Did her rich uncle die?
No. Reward money. Head bounty. I never touched a cent of it.
Why, 'tis unheard of. Our marshal, a deacon of the church.
I don't have any evil ideas, Mr. Kelly.
Be hard to convince people of that.
What if they don't deal with you?
In that case, I guess I'll just have to marry Miss Kathy.
Marriage. Marriage with an unknown female? A girl you know nothing about? Huh, he's daft.
Wait a minute. Let me talk to him. Now, look, Wyatt. Uh-oh, Wyatt. It's the Prentices.
Good. They saved me a long ride.
Don't you go out there.
Howdy, Mrs. Prentice.
Where's the girl?
Why don't you come in my office and talk?
Ain't got nothing to say.
Well, maybe you can use a little cash money, huh?
It's a trick, Ma.
Yeah.
How much?
Oh, $400?
What for?
For you to release Miss Kathy from the adoption?
Turning her loose? Tain't enough.
You keep out of this.
We ain't gonna keep out of it. Now, Kathy's supposed to marry Ty.
Yeah.
And, Ma, you got no right releasing her to Wyatt Earp.
Hush up, Lonnie. $400 ain't enough. She's a real good worker.
500. She'll be of age soon. You'll lose her anyway.
600, young man, and not a penny less.
All right, Mrs. Prentice, 600.
No deal, Johnny Law. Now, you go fetch Kathy.
Jump, boys.
I'll drive your ticket. Oh!
Go on, shoot your horse.
No. I'm lawing you. I'm lawing you right into jail.
Get him over to the docks.
He's your marshal, and I'm accusing him of persuading Kathy to leave me and shooting up my boys. Where's the judge?
You can take your case to court, Mrs. Prentice.
That won't be necessary.
Why not?
Because I'm going to marry Kathy. She's past 18, doesn't have to ask your consent.
Now, Wyatt.
Look, will you please get the minister so we can perform the ceremony?
What's going on here, Mom? Where's Kathy?
Hush up, Norman Davis. I'll take the 600.
No, you won't, ma'am. $600 is going to go to Norman, Miss Kathy, for a wedding present.
$600 for what?
For a wedding present, boy. You're going to a wedding, you and Miss Kathy. Now go get yourself a shave.
Yes, sir.
She'll be right out. The marshal will bring her back. Right in later.
Yes, that's a nice lady.
There you are.
You haven't kissed the bride. I'm mighty fond of Norm, but I kind of wish it was you.
Not really. So long, Miss Kathy. You're a very lovely lady.
Thank you. So long, Wyatt.
All the luck in the world, Norm.
Good luck, Norm. Bye now. You ready, honey?
All ready.
Sure, thank you, Mr. Earp.
Don't mention. Hey, there's a wonderful spot for a honeymoon on your way west called Whispering Waters.
Fine, we'll stop off there.
Well, you drop me a line now, will you?
Sure will.
Bye, Kathy.
So long, Wyatt.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Well, Deacon, that was close.
Hush up. Say, shouldn't you be on patrol?
Well, he cleaned up the country, the old Wild West country. He made law and order prevail. And none can deny it, the legend of Wyatt forever will live on the trail.
Oh, Wyatt